सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्. So, like I said, we will take some of the stotras on Lord Krishna today. And we have so many beautiful stotras on Lord Krishna. So I had a hard time which one to select and which one not to select. But hopefully we will have future sessions with Lord Krishna and Lord Rama as well. So yeah, don't worry about that. Okay, so so before we go on to our stotra, why don't I take 5-10 minutes just discussing on life. What is the purpose of life and how to live our life intelligently. What is the purpose of life? Purpose of life, we do various things, as we grew, we did a lot of things. We played games with our friends. We studied. Now we are working in some field. Maybe you're a professor, or maybe somebody is an engineer. Maybe somebody is a doctor. Why do we do those things? And even after whatever we are doing, what exactly are we seeking? Are we just seeking a stable life? Are we just seeking a secure life? Even behind the security and stability, is there something else that we are seeking? Yes, we have a house. Until we didn't have a house, we wanted to have a secure house. We wanted to have a nice 2 BHK house or 3 BHK, whatever. Then what? So, what is the purpose of life? And if we dwell on it, if we dwell enough, then the answer comes to happiness. That through all security, through all stability, what I want is happiness. Through that 2 BHK or 3 BHK or through a nice job, what I want is happiness. When I want my kid to be in a good school, what I want is happiness. I want I want to introduce myself through this Shastra Samskara, and hopefully through that the the the, the baby will also get that samskaras. What is that for? That is also for happiness. So this is the purpose of life. That I want to be happy, and not just once in a while. I want to be happy all the time and in all the places. So, how can we live our life? We can live our life so that this purpose of life, this goal of life, is we can attain this goal. And for that, what should we do? So, what have we been doing so far to be happy? If I want to be happy in Diwali, what do? I prepare a lot of sweets and I eat a lot of sweets. I spend time with friends. So, is that how we are going to get this happiness? The purpose of life? What is the purpose of life? To be happy. But that I am, even right now, when I eat rasgulla. Ain't I happy? But is that the happiness we are seeking? Uh, we eat rasgulla, fine, then the happiness goes away after 5-10 minutes. So that is not the happiness we are seeking. We are seeking happiness which is going to last forever. We want to as if stretch that happiness that we are getting from Rasgulla. We are getting the happiness from Rasgulla, but it gets over, after 5 minutes. So we are, all our life is in stretching that happiness. And so we want to discover this purpose of life is to extend and stretch that happiness. And how is it so? Or how can we do that? So, two ways. What are the two ways? So, the two ways we gain happiness is, one is we try to gain happiness from external objects. Like in Diwali, we try to have some sweets. But let us say that if your mood is not right, then are you going to enjoy those sweets? Or even when you are with your friends, let us say you heard about some bad news. Are you going to enjoy, uh, you know, the company of your good friends when you hear a bad news? So it is not that just a situation or the objects give you happiness. It is something else. You depend on something else. And what is that? Your mindset. Your mindset. So you also for happiness, two things are required. One, you rely on those external objects which you think that will give you happiness. But on top of it, if you don't have a mindset to enjoy those objects or situation, then it is not going to give you happiness. So more than the objects, your mindset becomes important for happiness, which is what the purpose of life. Which kind of happiness? 24/7, which is not limited to a rasgulla or some Diwali sweets or some company of your good friends. A happiness which is going to last forever and which is also not mixed up with your, uh, it's okay, which is also not mixed up with the shades of unhappiness. So that purpose of our life, which is limitless happiness, which we call happiness, which is going to last 24/7, is dependent on that mindset, which is pure, which is an enjoying mind. And so, how can we live our life intelligently? We can live our life intelligently by not just depending, by not just uh, welcome, Sajni. We're just talking on the purpose of life.
Hariom. Okay.
So the purpose of life is to gain that 24/7 happiness. And I was just telling to Sutismitaji that uh, how so far I think that the Diwali sweets, etc. gives me happiness. But if my mood is not right, it is not able to give me that happiness. And so to cultivate that mind which is able to enjoy things is very important. And so, what is living intelligently? Living intelligently is to transform our mind to uh, be able to enjoy things, to be able to enjoy a situation. So we all are trying to stretch that happiness, right? So how can we stretch the happiness that we get from eating rasgullas or spending time with friends? Not by, more and more of those objects or situation, but uh, the way to stretch that happiness is by stretching that mindset which is available to enjoy, which is able to appreciate any and every situation. And so living intelligently is converting, stretching that mindset, stretching that framework of mindset that is able to enjoy things. And how do we do that? By following values, by following values like truth, nonviolence, etc. Uh, Shama, uh, meaning accommodation. So, for developing that mindset, we need to uh, follow all these values in our life. When we are interacting with people, we want to make sure that we are following these basic values, which keeps the integrity of uh, of the which keeps the harmony of Bhagavan's creation, of Ishvara's creation. Because when we compromise these values, what happens is we are compromising that harmony of Ishvara. And so, this living intelligently, which we will talk in future sessions little by little, um, is following those values and ensuring not compromising it. So, following these values means not only not speaking, like if I want to follow a value of truth, it means not only do I not speak false or a lie, but it also means I go ahead and do something positive. So truth is straightforward that I do not try to I avoid speaking um, you know a lie. But let us take the value of non-violence and Shama, accommodation. So in those two values, with respect to those two values, not only do I not act, violently, but I also try to act in a very positive way. I try to act in a kind way. So if I am interacting with in a setup, and not only I do I make sure that I am not aggressive to anybody in that setup, but I also try to be kind. So it's both negative as well as a positive. Like I intentionally, deliberately try to act out in a positive way, and that is following the value of non-violence. Similarly, Kshama, non-violence and Kshama goes hand in hand. That somebody in your interaction with the society, somebody said something to you and you are hurt. And in that case, it becomes essential to accommodate that person as is with the particular behavior that person did, understanding that that behavior has a background. The person behind the behavior is not to be blamed. The person had some background because of which the person behaved in this manner, and accommodating that person as is without any grudge. So, there's a lot of things which can be said for these two values, but uh, just briefly, I wanted to introduce this concept that the purpose of life is what? To be happy, not just temporary, to be happy 24/7. We are in search for, we are in hunt of that limitless happiness, and that the means for limitless happiness is not just by some external objects or external situation or external people, but we have to develop that framework. Our personality has to be transformed to be able to enjoy and to be able to stretch that happiness. And for that, we have to, you know, we have to follow these values, make sure we do not compromise these values in in our life. And more we follow these values, we find more and more we become happy. More and more we are receptive to the happiness which the Shastras say is our actual nature. It is not something that has to be, uh, created. It is our very nature which has to be discovered, and this discovery happens in following values and in not compromising the values. So this is how we have to live intelligently by following these values at our personality level. Second thing is, just I will mention shortly, connecting ourselves with Ishvara. Uh, like the thread of mother and child. Uh, when you were a kid, how connected you were with your mother. Now you are a grown up, and still you may not be physically close to your mother, or even when you are not physically close to your mother, but the thought of mother, uh, it connects you, as if you are connected to the love of mother with an invisible thread. Like that, we all are connected with that Ishvara, who is the universal mother, with that invisible thread. It is just a matter of this mother we have been, it is, Ishvara is in the form of this mother, because this mother we have been physically connected to since our birth. Ishvara is somebody who we have not seen, but we have to discover, and we have to discover that universal thread which connects all of us with that universal principle, Ishvara. And so, living intelligently is also invoking in ourselves that devotion which will make us connect with that thread of Ishvara, and which will strengthen the devotion we have for Ishvara. So, this is an introduction, and our life has to be spent on discovering these two realities more and more in depth. So this session that we will be doing, yes, this also does that. It does the invoking Ishvara principle, uh, trying to strengthen that thread with Ishvara. This is what we are doing in this session. So my 10 minutes became 20 minutes, but we will continue. Sajni, did you want to speak anything about being present?
I can speak a few words.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay, so last time we spoke about being present. Is my voice
Yes.
audible? Today I'm using
Your
Bluetooth.
your voice is audible, but if you are able to have your video on, if it is
Okay.
possible,
Yeah, yeah. I'm just in the prayer room. One moment. I'll have to hold the phone. I don't have a phone stand today.
just for the purpose. Yeah. Then if you want to
Is
take
it
to
on?
another, yeah,
Okay.
it's on now.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll just show you a one here. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. So last time we spoke about being present for ourselves. One mother can be present for herself during the pregnancy. And part of being present is ensuring that we're connected to this body to a certain extent that we can make it function well. Not only the body and the mind to function well, to take care of the child, to take care of ourselves, and to take care of the child. The most important principle in pediatrics is to take care of oneself. And so you can properly take care of a child. And there are 6 principles that they talk about in taking care of oneself. And the first principle is diet. And the diet needs to be filled with whole plant foods. most people in India, even if not vegetarian, they have a tremendous amount of whole plant foods. They specifically say is to talk about 3 to 5 servings of fruits, 3 to 5 servings of vegetables daily. And uh, just like in Shastra, they have a gross body and they have a subtle body. In a medicine, they talk about the gross body, like the bones, the muscles, the nerves, the soft tissue, the cartilage. But then they also talk about the subtle form of the gross body, which is like the neurotransmitters and the enzymes. And the enzymes which create chemical reactions, they require a tremendous amount of nutrients in the form of vitamins and minerals and amino acids. And so uh, when we miss out on eating the subtle things like the fruits and vegetables, that subtle form of the gross body in Western medicine, at least, and I'm sure it's similar in Ayurvedic medicine, but to a much more detailed understanding that um, that subtle form doesn't develop. And what is the need for a mother and a child to have that subtle form of the gross body is that's where the finer things, the more subtle things in life are understood. The body is formed, but then the thinking capacity, the capacity to um, understand one's feelings and then to express them in a way that doesn't interrupt the other, and then to help the other understand their feelings. And uh, that perspective taking um, really involves a tremendous amount of energy. And so when the mother goes through childbirth, during the pregnancy, a tremendous amount of energy is needed to continue to develop the mother's body and also to form this they say fetus, but this developing baby's body. And when that developing baby body is being formed, we also need to form that subtle part of the gross body, the neurotransmitters and the enzymes. My job is to help those children who haven't developed that after they're born. So I help children with developmental disabilities, and in that process, I'm able to see what is involved to raise a more healthy child, to prevent this development of developmental disability. And so, from that perspective, I'm sharing this that the food we eat is tremendously important. And the second principle in pediatrics is sleep, getting a substantial amount of sleep. I'm probably not a good reflection of this because I stay up late to work, but uh, when an individual is pregnant, that amount, and right before pregnancy, that amount of sleep is very important because that's where repair happens. Repair not of open wounds and repair of cuts and bruises and things like that, but repair of the subtle DNA, because the DNA replicate every second in each of our cells, and that DNA sometimes doesn't replicate with as much. Um, there's a word, but uh, doesn't replicate perfectly. There's always some mistakes in replication of that DNA. And so we again need proper sleep to, if there's any uh, problem in replication, it can repair itself. And that can happen. And so the next line of cells becomes more healthy in a way. So those are two main principles in pediatrics, is sleep. And then the third is stress. A part of uh, attending a class like this of Pushtiji's is to ensure that stress is minimized by understanding Ishvara, by invoking Ishvara at the altar and then invoking Ishvara in our heart. And that's why these shlokas and bhajans and prayers are continuously presented every week, I imagine. So we can spend our energies not being anxious about the future or depressed about the past, but invoking Ishvara in our hearts so we can be present to the moment and do it joyfully, do it cheerfully. So that's the third principle. And the fourth, which we I think is extremely important is social connectedness. Social connectedness um, is helpful when we're around those who have similar mindsets, and we can have different social circles. One is for those who care for bhakti, and that is again this group. Another is there those who care for Shastra, to learn, and both are related. And so again, that is this group, and others around you, others who are seeking the same thing. Another is those who care for you and for your health and for your body and for your lineage, and that can be your family. Those who care for your profession and your work, for the same. If one is a teacher, then the social connectedness of the circle of teachers. And so to have some social connectedness, not everybody's going to understand everything about yourself, but there'll be a part of you that they understand and that you can support each other in together. So that is another principle of pediatrics, um, in having uh, good health and healthy relationships. And the fourth, which most people that I usually associate with in these classes don't engage in, is, but we can extend it, is no tobacco, no smoking. But we can extend it to an extent that we can say to decrease the toxins available to around us as much as possible. And of course, that could include plastics, and that could also include electronics. For me, a lot of my work um, is online, so I'm around electronics all the time. And so now we can decide that there's a certain point in our work that we have to put, or a certain part in our life that we have to put the electronics to the side. Or they develop these new things like put copper around all of the electronics so they don't give too much radiation, and have a limit to the phone. Once the functional use of it is over, don't use it for socialization as much as one might in regular society. And avoid the use of single plastic bottles as much as possible. And don't heat food in plastic containers. Don't put hot food in plastic containers. If one lives near the water and that culture is to eat fish, then and uh, try to get uh, try to see if there are fish and air waters that are tested that have less mercury. Um, so that is another principle of pediatrics in maintaining one's health and maintaining healthy relationships. Perhaps I can talk about the others in another class. I don't want to take up too much time. Thank you.
Thank you, Sajni. It was great. And I think what Dr. Sajni talked about from medical aspect, it also ties, you know, from spiritual aspect, how when you nurture your gross body, then your emotional, your personality is a makeup of these 5 layers. Principally, the gross body is one layer, emotional layer is another one, and intellectual layer is another one. And so when Sajni was talking about nurturing at all these levels, it is also nurturing our whole perspective, our whole personality. And so it is our growth of the entire personality in all the different dimensions. So thanks again. And with that, uh, we will start with our, uh, the actual session. Okay, so we do the sankalpa that may this session, we pray to Bhagavan, may this session protect the jiva, protect this fetus. May it help in invoking the Shastra samskaras in the developing child. May they be well received into a loving environment, and may the child have a loving childhood conducive to the spiritual growth of the jiva. Now, before we proceed, I just wanted to ask, do you do like diyas or prayers in the morning or any time during the day?
Uh, I don't like diyas, but I have taken diksha and I do japa in the morning.
Okay,
And
that's a good practice. Yeah, I just was, in case you don't, then I was just going to suggest. So at least once in a day, if we are doing japa is fine. If we are doing japa, then there is no question. All those samskaras gets it carries forward into your baby, and when the baby sees that okay, once the child is going to be born, once the child will be born, then when the child sees us, okay, mother is praying, mother is doing japa, then that value is created. Uh, we all perhaps had those value from whatever we saw, and so also our child will learn lot from what he or she observes than what is being said. So we can be that figure, by doing things, by engaging in all these activities. And that is how the child will learn. The child will see us, and he or she will learn. So Krishna, so we will do this Om Namo Narayana Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. We will do this 21 times. And then I have a lot of sutras. We will see what we will do about it. Okay. Om Namo Narayanaya.
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 Okay, so beautiful, beautiful stotras. Achyutastakam. This is composed by Adi Shankaracharya ji. And this is essentially Bhagwan's different names are being mentioned. Yeah, I think what we will do is I will just give a brief summary and we will not go word to word meaning. I thought I wanted to give word to word meaning today, uh, but essentially, uh, the first, its first couple of verses are just addressing Bhagavan Krishna by different names and saying that, hey Krishna, who is like this, I am worshipping you. That is the essential gist. And now I think just, enjoying the rhythm and just the stotra, it will create the devotion. Achyutam Keshavam. So let me do the first verse so you have the tune in your mind and then you can follow. Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Sudevam श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिका वल्लभं जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्रं भजे जानकीनायकं श्रीरामचन्द्रं भजे. So that's the tune. Okay, so now we will do the full session. अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणं
अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणं
कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरिं
कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरिं
श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं
श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं
जानकीनायकं श्रीरामचन्द्रं भजे
जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्र भजे
जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्रं भजे.
जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्रं भजे
अच्युतं केशवं सत्यभामाधवं
अच्युतं केशवं सत्यभामाधवं
माधवं श्रीधरं राधिकाराधितम्
माधवं श्रीधरं राधिकाराधितम्
इन्दिरामन्दिरं चेतसा सुन्दरम्
इन्दिरामन्दिरं चेतसा सुन्दरं
देवकी नन्दनं नन्दनं सन्दधे
देवकी नन्दनं नन्दनं सन्ददे
देवकी नन्दनं नन्दनं सन्दधे
देवकी नन्दनं नन्दनं सन्ददे
विष्णवे जिष्णवे शङ्खिने चक्रिणे
विष्णवे जिष्णवे शङ्खिने चक्रिणे
रुक्मिणी रागिणे जानकी जानये
रुक्मिणी रागिणी जानकी जानये
वल्लभी वल्लभायार्चितायात्मने
वल्लभे वल्लभायाचितायत्मने
कंसवे ध्वंसिने वंशिने ते नमः
वंशवे ध्वंसिने वंशिने ते नमः
कंसवे ध्वंसिने वंशिने ते नमः
वंशवे ध्वंसिने वंशिने से ते नमः
कृष्ण गोविन्द हे राम नारायण
कृष्ण गोविन्द हे राम नारायण
श्रीपते वासुदेवाजित श्रीनिधे
श्रीपते वासुदेवाजित श्रीनिधे
अच्युतानन्त हे माधवाधोक्षज
अच्युतानन्त हे माधवाधोक्षज
द्वारकानायक द्रौपदी रक्षक
द्वारकानायक द्रौपदी रक्षक
द्वारकानायक द्रौपदी रक्षक नायक द्रौपदी रक्षक राक्षस क्षोभितः सीतया शोभितः
रक्षस शोभित श्रीतया रक्षस
राक्षस क्षोभितः सीतया शोभितः
राक्षस शोभित सीतया शोभितः
दण्डकारण्यभून्यताकारणः
दण्डकारण्यभूपन्यकारणः
लक्ष्मणेनान्वितो वानरैः सेवितः
लक्ष्मणेनान्वितो वानरे सेवितः
अगत्
सेवितो
it's okay. Save, you can say sevitah because we
ओके
broke the
ओके
लक्ष्मणे
लक्ष्मणेनान्विता वानरे सेवितः
अगत्स्य सम्पूजितो राघवः पातु माम्
अवत्स सम्पूजितो राघव पातु माम्
अगत्स्य सम्पूजितो राघवः पातु माम्
अगच्छ अगच्छ सम्पूजितो राघवः पार्श्वम्
धेनुकारिष्टको निष्टकृद्वेषिणाम्
धेनुकारिष्टको निष्ठको देशिनां
द्वेषिणाम्
द्वेषिणां
केशिहा कंसरुत् कौशिका वादकः
केश केशिः कंसरुत्वा वंशिका वादकः
पूतना कोपकः सूरजाखेलनः
पूतना कोपकः सूरजाखेलनः
बालगोपालकः पातु मां सर्वदा
बालगोपालकः पातु मां सर्वदा
बालगोपालकः पातु मां सर्वदा.
बालगोपालकः पातु मां सर्वदा.
It is telling, hey Balagopala, you please protect me. What kind of Balagopala? Dhenuka, uh, Dhenuka and Arishtaka Adi Anishta. One who, you know, uh, Balaramji destroyed Dhenukaji, Dhenuka Rakshasa, and Krishna Bhagavan, he destroyed this Arishtaka
Putana.
Rakshasa. So, to that Balagopala who is like this, and who else? Keshi, he also destroyed this Keshi Rakshasa. Then Kamsa, and Kansa he killed, and then Putana, and then Suraja Khelana. Suraja is one who is born of Surya. Who is that? Yamunaji. So the river Yamuna is Suraja, is the Surya Putri. And Suraja Kelanaha, meaning the one who used to play near this banks of river Yamuna. To that Balgopala, please protect. So different ways of remembering all the leelas of Bhagavan Krishna and just remembering him. विद्युदुद्यो विद्युदुद्योतवत् प्रस्फुरद्भाससम्
विद्युदुद्योत
विद्युदुद्योतवत् उद्योतवत्
विद्युदुद्योतवत् प्रस्फुरत्
प्रस्फुरद्भाससम्
भाससं
विद्युदुद्योतवत्
विद्युदुद्योतवत् प्रस्फुरत् भाससं
प्रस्फुरद्भाससम् प्रावृडं बोधवत् उल्लसत् विग्रहम्
प्रावुध
प्रावृडं बोधवत्
प्रावुधं बोधवत्
उल्लसत् विग्रहम्
प्रलसद्विग्रहम्
प्रोल्लसत् विग्रहम्
प्रोल्लसद् विग्रहम्
वन्यया मालया शोभितोरस्थलम्
वन्यया मालया शोभितोरस्थलम्
लोहिताङ्घ्रिद्वयं वारिजाक्षं भजे
लोहितां
लोहिताङ्घ्रिद्वयं
लोहिताङ्घ्रिद्वयं वारिजाक्षं भजे
लोहिताङ्घ्रिद्वयं वारिजाक्षं भजे
लोहिताङ्घ्रिद्वयं वारिजाक्षं भजे
कुञ्चितैकुन्तलैर्भ्राजमानाननम्
कुन्तिलै sorry कुञ्चितैर्भजामाननम्
रत्नमौलिं लसत् कुण्डलं गण्डयोः
रत्नमौलिं लसत् कुण्डलं गण्डयो
गण्डयोः
गण्डयोः
हारकेयूरकं कङ्कणप्रोज्ज्वलम्
हारकेयूकरं कङ्करं उज्ज्वलम्
किङ्किणी मञ्जुलं श्यामलं तं भजे
किङ्किणी मज्जुलं श्यामलं तं भजे
किङ्किणी मञ्जुलं श्यामलं तं जय
किङ्किणी मञ्जुलं श्यामलं तं भजे
श्यामलं तं जय
श्यामलं तं भजे
अच्युतस्याष्टकं यः पठेदिष्टदम्
अच्युतष्टाकलम् अच्युतस्
अच्युतस्
अच्युतस्याष्टकं यः पठेत् इष्टदम्
प्रेमतः प्रत्यहं पुरुषः सस्पृहम्
प्रेमतः
प्रेमतः
प्रत्यहं पुरुषः सस्पृहम्
पुरुषः who will be दीर्घ पुरुषः
पुरुषः
सस्पृहम्
सस्पृहम्
वृत्ततः सुन्दरं
वृत्ततः सुन्दरं
कर्तृविश्वम्भरः
कर्तुविश्वम्भरः
तस्य वश्यो हरेर्जायते
तस्य वश्यो हरे
सत्वरम्
जायते सत्वरम्
तस्य वश्यो हरेर्जायते सत्वरम्
तस्य वश्यो हरिर्जायते सत्वरम्
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम राम हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
okay. So then I had planned this one. I had planned a lot of things. Okay. How about 10 minutes? So we will not do dhun today. We will also skip bhajan today because I am doing dhun anyways after the stotra. So let us do this Jagannashtakam. Okay. We will just do this Jagannath. Two stotras today. Again, another one. I will not go into the meaning too much today. Someday I will explain. Actually, I also want to do this another stotra, Narayanashtakam. Okay. Okay, let's start with this Jagannashtakam. Okay. कदाचित् कालिन्दे
कदाचित् कालिन्दी
तटविपिनसङ्गीतकरवः
तत विपिन सङ्गीतकरवः
मुदा गोपी नारी
मुदा गोपी नारी
वदनकमलास्वादमधुपः
वदनकमल स्वाद मधुपः
रमा शम्भो ब्रह्मा
रमा
मरपतगणेश ओके
रमा रमा शम्भो ब्रह्मा मरपति गणेशर्चित पदः
sorry रमा शम्भो ब्रह्मा मरपतिगणेशार्चितपदः
रमा शम्भु ब्रह्मा मरपित गणेशार्चितपदः
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामि भवतु मे
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे.
So you will find that the last line is common, that Hey Jagannatha Swami, please show me your, give me your darshan. Which kind of Jagannatha Bhagavan? So the first three line is the description. So those description of Jagannath ji varies. So the first here it is said like the Bhagavan who sometimes is seen to be doing playing around near the Kalindi river, who is sometimes seen as a bee is seen among the flowers of the gopis. So who is seen amidst the gopis, uh, like what? Like that bee, amidst a flower. To that Jagannatha, who is Rama Shambhu Brahma Marapati Ganeshar Padaha, who is worshipped by all these devtas and devis. Uh, this kind of great Lord Jagannatha, please give me your darshana. In that way, so this is the first verse. In that way, beautifully different verses have different meaning, which so someday, so when we will have this next round of Lord Krishna, we will go into the meaning. But I just wanted to introduce this chanting. But at least we can have that we are chanting this in remembering Bhagavan Krishna and the various Leela of Bhagavan Krishna. So that we can have in our mind even when you are not, having the exact meanings. And next session, we will do the exact meaning. I was just too over enthusiastic to have. Okay. Bhuje savye venum
Savye savye venum
shirasi shikhi picham katitate
shirisi shikhipiccham katitate
dukulam netrante
dukulam netrante
सहचर कटाक्षं विदधते
सहचर कटाक्षं विदधते
सदा श्रीमद्वृन्दा वनवसतिलीला परिचयः
सदा श्रीमद्वृन्दावन वसति लीला परिचयः
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामि भवतु मे.
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे.
This one also has a nice one, so I'll just say the meaning of this one. So the one who has the Krishna Bhagavan, the Jagannatha Swami, who has this flute in his left hand and who has the morpeech on his head, and Katitate Dukulam, who has the vastra, a knot of the vastra uh, uh, in his on his waist. Netrante Sahachara Kataksham Vidadate. So who is looking at the gopis through the Kataksha, Kataksha. Uh, what is it? You got it, right? With, should I say it in English? Like through the corner of the eyes, who is looking at the gopis. Sada Srimat Vrindavana Vasati Leela Parichaya, and who is always residing in Vrindavan
Vrindavan.
and doing all his Leela. That Jagannatha Swami, please show me, please give me your darshan. Then Mahambodhe Stire Kanakaruchire Neela Shikhare
महाम्भोधे स्थिरे कनकरुचिरे नीलशिखरे
वसन् प्रासादान्तः सहज बलभद्रे सहज बलभद्रेण बलिना
वसन प्रसादान्तः वसन प्रसादान्तः सहज बलभद्रेण बलिना
सुभद्रा मध्यस्थः सकलसुरसेवावसरतः
सुभद्रा मध्यस्थः सकलसुरसेवा वसरतः
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामि भवतु मे
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे.
So this is actually talking about that Jagannath Mandir, how that mandir itself is situated near the ocean and what is it? The Neelanchala Parvata is, it is looking more beautiful by being situated near that Neelanchala Parvata. And this Jagannatha Swami is there in this glorious, majestic temple. How Sahaja Bala Bhadrena and Subhadra Madhyastaha will with Balaramji and Subhadraji. So that the that format of the temple and how Bhagavan is you know uh, Bhagwan is there in this temple with Subhadraji. That is the iconic of this Jagannath ji. Nowhere you will find you find Krishna Bhagwan and Radha ji. You find all other pairing, but the pairing with Subhadraji and Balram ji you find where Jagannath Mandir. So that is again glorified. And Sakala Sura Seva Vasaradaha, who is worshipped by all the devatas. Please, Jagannath Swami, you show me your darshan, you give me your darshan. Then, Krupa Paravaraha Sajala Jalada Shreni Ruchiraha.
Kripa Varas. It says Varas. Should I say Varaha?
Yeah, you say Akara. Okay, sorry.
Oh.
I won't be able to make the changes right now.
Okay, it's
You
okay.
say
I'll pronounce it to the
Varaha.
Varaha.
You can say Varaha.
Okay. Kripa Varaha Sajala Jaladashrini Ruchiraha.
Ramavani Saumaha. Okay, so because I've done the Sandhi, Ramavani Saumaha. Okay, there is a Patantara. Okay. Ramavani Saumaha.
Ramavani Somaha
Suradamala Padmodhava Mukhaihi.
Suradamala Padmod Mavat Mukhaihi
Suradamala Padmodhava Mukhaihi.
Suradamala Padmod Bhavamukhe
Padmodhava Mukhaihi.
Padmo Bhavamukhe
Surendrairaradhya.
Surendrairadhya
Sorry. Surendrairaradhya.
Surendraradhya Surendraira
Surendrairaradhya.
Surendrairadhya.
It is telling who is worshipped by Sura, meaning Devatas and Indra. So
Okay.
Surendrairaradhya.
Surendrairadhya
श्रुतिगणशिखागीतचरितः
Shrutigana
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामि भवतु मे
Jagannath Swami Nayanapatagami Bhavatu me.
रथारूढो गच्छन् पथि मिलितभूदेव पटलैः
Ratharuro Gachan Pathi Milita भेव भे पथि मिलित भूदेव पटलैः
स्तुति प्रादुर्भावम् प्रतिपदमुपाकर्ण्य सदयः
स्तुति प्रादुर्भावम् प्रतिपदम् उपाकार्य सदयः
स्तुति प्रादुर्भावम्
स्तुति प्रादुर्भावम्
प्रति
भार्वम् is
भा
the
प्रादुर्भावम्
bhavam. Okay.
प्रादुर् and then भावम्. स्तुति प्रादुर्भावम् स्तुति प्रादुर्भावम् प्रतिपदमुपाकर्ण्य सदयः प्रतिपदम् उपाकर्ण्य सदयः दया सिन्धुर्बन्धुः सकलजगता सिन्धुसुतया दया सिन्धुर्बन्धुः सकलजगता सिन्धुसुतया जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी तुमे
Pushti ji, I'm
जगन्नाथ.
sorry. Could you please just repeat from Stuti Pradhu Bhardwing because
Okay,
I got a
yeah,
call. I couldn't.
okay. I स्तुति प्रादुर्भावम्
Stuti Pradurbhavam
प्रतिपदमुपाकर्ण्य सदयः
Pratipadamaupakarya Sudayah
प्रतिपदमुपाकर्ण्य सदयः
Pratipadamupakanya
उपा
Upakarnya Sada
उपाकर्
Upakarnya Sadayah
उपाकर्ण्य सदयः
Upakarnya Sadayah
दया सिन्धुर्बन्धुः
Daya Sindhur
सकलजगता सिन्धुसुतया.
सकल जगत सिंधु सुतया.
Now we will tell this, now we will chant this in one line. Daya Sindhur Bandhus Sakala Jagata Sindhu Sutaya
दया सिंधुर बंधु सकल जगता सिंधु सुतया.
Jagannatha Swami Nayana. Actually, it should be Daya Sindhur Bandhus Sakala Jagata Sindhu Sutaya
दया सिंधुर बंधु सकल जगता सिंधु सुतया.
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पदगामी भवतु मे.
परब्रह्मापीडः
परब्रह्मा पीरः
कुवलय कुवलयदलोत्फुल्लनयनः
कुवलयदलोत्फुल्लनयनः
निवासी नीलाद्रौ निहितचरणो sorry निवासी नीलाद्रौ
निवासी नीलाद्रौ
निहितचरणोऽनन्तशिरसि
निहितचरणोऽनन्त शिरसि.
रसानन्दो राधा
रसानन्दो राधा
सरसवपुरालिङ्गनसखः
सरसपुरलिङ्गनसखः
सरसवपुरालिङ्गनसखः
सरसवपुरलिङ्गनसखः
रसानन्दो राधा सरसवपुरालिङ्गनसखः
रसानन्दो राधा सरसवपुरलिङ्गनसखः
वपुरालिङ्गनसखः
रसानन्दो राधा सरसवपुरलिङ्गनसखः.
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे.
न वै प्रार्थ्यं राज्यं न च कनकतां भोगविभवम्
न वै प्रार्थं राज्यं न च कनकतं विभवम्
न च कनकतां भोगविभवम्
न च कनकतां भोगविभवम्
न याचेऽहं रम्याम्
न याचेऽहं रम्याम्
निखिलजनकाम्यां वरवधुम्
निखिलजनकाम्यां वरवधुम्
सदा काले काले
सदा काले काले
प्रमथपतिना गीतचरितः
प्रमथपतिना गीतचरितः
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामि भवतु मे
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी तुमे
हरत्वं संसारम्
हरत्वं संसारम्
द्रुततरमसारं सुरपते
द्रुततरमसारं सुरपते
हरत्वं पापानां
हरत्वं पापानां
वितति विततिमपारां या विततिमपारां यादवपते
विततिमपारां यादवपते
अहो दीनानाथम्
अहो दीनानाथं
निहितमचलं नेष्टितपदम्
निहितमचलं निश्चितपदम्
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामि भवतु मे
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामि भवतु मे
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे
Okay. Sorry, I
Srishti
was
ji,
so
I was a bit curious about one of the stanzas. I
yeah.
think it's the fifth one. There was a mention of the Sindhu. Is that a reference to the Sindhu River? I was just curious.
No, it
I
is
think.
Daya Sindhu, right?
Oh,
So it
okay.
is talking about Ratha Rudaha Gachan. So it is talking about Jagannath ji. So the whole
Okay.
stotra is about Jagannath ji. So how during Rath Yatra this Jagannath
Okay.
ji is being taken, and then what happens is Stuti Pradurbhavam Pratipadam Upakarnya Sadayah. So when he listens, the Stuti, the praise done by during the Yatra, then out of Daya, then he becomes like the Daya Sindhu, like the
Okay.
ocean of compassion,
Wow.
and he
Okay.
blesses all the devotees. So that
Okay.
is being, that is being
Okay.
poetically brought about in this stanza. Each one of these stotras, like, the meaning, it is beautiful. So it was very over ambitious, but we have this presentation, so we will
Yeah.
dwell
Yeah.
on it
Yeah.
in coming sessions. Let us finish off with prayers, then I just need 1 minute.
Yeah.
ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ let me stop the recording.